You're not supposed to hear this yet, but if you care about what really decides rings in June, you'll want to stay right here. Something big has shifted behind the scenes in Los Angeles, and it touches the one topic nobody wants to miss: the future that keeps this franchise awake at night. I'm talking about a decision with real weight, the kind that changes how the rest of the West looks at the Lakers in scouting rooms and in huddles with 5 minutes left in the fourth. No spoilers yet. Just know this: timing, leverage, and legacy are colliding at the same intersection. And the traffic light just flipped. If I told you the conversation at the top of the building sounded different this week, more direct, less polite, would you believe me? If I told you the staff meetings are no longer what-if chats, but what are we willing to do or not do checkpoints, would that change how you look at October? Keep listening. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through what's really on the board. Usage plans that keep a 40-year-old superstar fresh when it matters. Rotation tweaks that unlock shooting without sacrificing size. And the financial chest that decides who you can actually count on in April. Here's my promise for today. We're going to separate noise from signal. We'll talk about the choice that's been hovering over El Segundo for months, the ripple it sends to the locker room, how the coaching staff wants to manage late-game possessions, what the front office is quietly prioritizing, and why fans like you, who've watched this team through title runs and rebuilds, are feeling a shift in tone. We're not dropping the headline yet. We're building the context, because context is how you stop overreacting to the wrong thing and start paying attention to the right thing. And no, this isn't another empty sources say parade or a doom scroll disguised as analysis. If you've been with this team long enough, you know when energy changes. This feels like that. You can sense the urgency in the way minutes are being planned, the way veterans are talking to young guys in workouts, the way the training staff outlines back-to-backs long before the schedule forces a hand. The Lakers are moving like a group that understands windows don't stay open by accident. They're held open by choices. So what are the choices? 3 clocks are ticking at once. Clock 1 is the body, how to protect a legend's legs for the last 6 minutes of tight games from January through June. Clock 2 is the room, how to keep a locker room aligned when some guys are chasing roles. Some are chasing paydays and one is chasing pure history. Clock 3 is the cap, how to add without mortgaging the years that start after a farewell whenever that day comes. These aren't abstract ideas. They're guardrails being put in place right now so the season doesn't get hijacked by panic or nostalgia. Before we go deeper, quick word to the people who make this worth doing. This is Lakers News Fan Report, your space for straight talk without the circus. If you love the team, if you love clarity, tap subscribe, hit the like, turn on the alerts. It helps the channel reach more real fans, and it tells the algorithm that Lakers Nation actually wants substance. Now let's get to it. Let's set the scene like grown-ups. Last season told us 2 truths at once. Truth 1, when the top of the roster is healthy and locked in, Los Angeles can still play with anyone. The pace can slow, the half-court can get heavy, and the team still manufactures advantages with brains and timing. Truth 2, margin is thin. When shooting slides or size is mismatched, runs evaporate, and you can't afford that against the best teams who live on 8-0 bursts. Those truths weren't moral failures. They were a map. The offseason moved on that map, less romance, more fit. So the staff has been building a plan that does not flirt with burnout. Think of the season in 3 acts: foundation, sharpening, execution. In foundation, you don't chase every win. You chase identity. You protect legs, you hardwire spacing and defensive rules, and you live with some sloppy possessions because you're teaching reads that matter in Game 5 on the road. In sharpening, you start trimming the rotation, you test closing lineups under pressure, and you make sure your late-game packages are second nature, not clipboard inventions. In execution, you are ruthless with matchups and fatigue. That's how smart teams survive the math without tricking themselves into shortcuts. There's also the culture layer. The older a star gets, the more a franchise has to build an ecosystem that removes needless friction. That means communication is clean. No guessing about roles, no quiet resentment about who gets touches in crunch time, no drama about whose voice carries in film sessions. It also means a front office that doesn't bluff. Players can smell bluffing. The staff can too. Say what the plan is, say what the limits are, and then live with your own conviction. That's how trust shows up when the shots don't. All this leads to the question that refused to die all summer. What exactly is the organization willing to commit to in order to extend this window? Not a headline, a commitment. Is it minutes? Is it money? Is it draft equity? Is it all of the above? And how do you draw that line without insulting the man who rewrote your history and still moves the needle for the entire league when he breathes differently? That's the balance. Respect meets reality. Okay, you've earned it. Here's the headline you came for, and here's why it matters. Inside the building, the Lakers have aligned on a clear baseline for the season. LeBron James is staying the course in Los Angeles. There's no trade ask on the table, and the plan is continuity first. Protect the picks early, protect the legs nightly, and build the closing identity long before the deadline forces a desperate move. That's the internal track, not a fireworks show. A commitment to sanity, with flexibility if the board changes. What does that actually look like when the ball goes up? First, usage with purpose. Expect targeted rest pockets woven into the schedule, not random nights that create media storms. Think shorter bursts, earlier off-ball sets that leverage gravity without taxing legs, and staggered minutes to keep a true initiator on the floor while preserving the gas tank for closing time. That protects the kingpin while letting the second unit breathe. Second, shooting integrity. The roster math favors lineups that put two credible spacers on both wings and a screener who can either pop or short roll to a decision. That's less about chasing threes for the sake of pace and more about opening lanes so fourth quarters aren't 10 men standing in mud. In practice, it means the staff will reward guys who defend assignments and hit the open ones from the corners. Simple, old-school basketball that travels in the playoffs. Third, accountability on defense. The West is a league of bully ball wings and chess master guards. You can't be average at the point of attack and expect the back line to bail you out for 6 months. So yes, the minutes will reflect closeouts done right, tags made on time, and the boring stuff that decides series. That's not punishment. That's respect for the game. And it's the only way to make sure you aren't asking for miracle performances from a 40-year-old twice a week. Fourth, deadline discipline. The word is out inside. Don't touch the deep future until you know exactly what one move buys you in May. That doesn't mean passivity. It means clarity. If a move upgrades you from tough out to true contender, you talk. If it's a headline trade that eats 2 firsts to move you sideways, you pass. That message, repeated in enough rooms, keeps the season from being hijacked by impatience. Now let's talk relationships because this is where teams either get stronger or crack. LeBron's voice still matters. It should. He's earned it. But the tone from the front office is intentional. Partnership, not panic. That shows up in how the staff builds late-game options that don't ask him to win with brute force every night. It shows up in how the training group maps back-to-backs and travel. It shows up in the film sessions that focus on decisions, not heroics. When the legend is respected with a plan, he doesn't need to control everything. He needs to trust the plan. There's a difference. And because everyone asks, what about the young core and the role players trying to grow their names? This is where good franchises thread the needle. You create development minutes that are real, not garbage time charity, and you put those players in actions they will actually run in the spring. You teach them how to screen with purpose, how to defend without fouling, how to be ready to shoot the second the pass leaves the star's hands. If they can do those things on command, they become playable when it counts. If they can't, the rotation will tell the truth. No hard feelings. The league is honest. Let's touch on pressure, because it's part of this. Every year with a living legend is a documentary in real time. Cameras, segments, opinions, some of it fair, most of it noise. The only way to navigate that is to pre-decide who you are. Are you a brand that chases headlines or a basketball team that chases answers? The choice you heard today, continuity first, legs first, identity first, tells you which lane is being chosen. You may not get the dopamine hit of a blockbuster in November. You may get something better in April, a team that knows exactly what it is. There's also the human side. Fans older than 50 are people who watched Magic turn into banners and banners turn into standards, understand the rhythm of eras. They also understand knees, backs, and mornings that feel different. The respect you show a great one in the final chapters is not blind loyalty. It's intelligent loyalty. You help him win without asking him to be 25. You enjoy the craft. You cherish the nights when time bends and he turns back the clock. And you protect him from the nights when it doesn't. That's love, the basketball kind. Zoom out to the conference for a second. The West will always try to pull you into a sprint. Let them. The Lakers' best version isn't a track meet. It's a half-court strangler that squeezes games to 97 possessions, turns the last 5 minutes into a math test, and makes opponents live on mid-range diets they don't actually want. You do that by owning the glass, winning free throws, and getting two guys to the nail who can make calm decisions while the building shakes. That's not nostalgia. That's winning basketball at any age. Of course, everything is a living document. If the board changes, if a real upgrade becomes available, if a young player explodes past expectations, if injuries force a rethink, you adapt. The difference is you're adapting from a foundation, not from chaos. You're not selling the farm to buy attention. You're calibrating a plan that already exists. So what does all this mean if you're watching from home in your jersey with a coffee on the table and a little worry in your chest? It means you can breathe. It means the team you love is choosing patience without passivity, respect without fear, and a path that honors both the past and the present. It means the last dance, whenever it is, doesn't have to be a desperate one. It can be composed, competitive, and worthy of the history on the wall. Now I want to hear you. Do you agree with a continuity-first approach that protects picks and protects legs until the deadline forces a real decision? Would you push harder, sooner, to cash in future assets for immediate help? What do you value more right now? One more shot at the top seed or a team that peaks in late April no matter the seed? Drop your view below. This community has some of the smartest fans anywhere, and your take genuinely helps shape what we dive into next. My opinion before we close, I like this. Smart wins in this league, and smart looks like what we just laid out. Clear roles, protective minutes, accountability on defense, and discipline on the trade front. It honors greatness without pretending age is just a number. And yes, to be crystal clear, this is my analysis and my read of the situation as it stands today. É especulação, no sentido de leitura e cenário, não anúncio oficial. But if the Lakers stick to this line, they give themselves the best chance to be their truest, toughest version when the lights are hottest. That's all you can ask for. Stay locked. This is going to be a season worth watching.